After moving to the United States from Kitzingen, Bavaria, Germany in 2004, I began to experience culture shock. I would soon realize that culture shock comes in many waves and intensities. It's much more like a roller coaster. At first, everything is amazing, everything is new, everything is exciting. This is called the honeymoon phase. Everything around me is discombobulating. The massive cars, the massive stores where you can buy everything. I was amazed just how cheap the gas was and how cheap everything was. I was amazed at free refills. And there was ice in every drink. The whole concept of 24/7 became new and exciting. Nothing in Germany is open 24/7. I thought every day was a holiday. There were so many flags up everywhere. But soon, that exciting phase, that honeymoon phase, began to crack. And thus begins negotiating and adjusting. I quickly learned that in the US, 100 years is a long time and 100 miles is nothing. In Germany, 100 years is nothing and 100 miles is far. Where I lived in Germany, I could be in 3 countries in under 3 hours. I could drive to Paris in 8 hours. But here, driving an hour just to go to the grocery store is normal. I can drive for 3 days straight and still be in the same country. It's sort of hard to imagine. I soon began to gain weight and realized that everything has sugar. I had to drive everywhere, so I wasn't getting nearly as much exercise. I began to get tired of telling people where I was from when they heard my accent, so I enrolled in accent reduction therapy with a speech pathologist. I began to miss home, my old house, my old friends. I remember one time I went to a baker in a grocery store and just started screaming at him because I couldn't find a decent loaf of bread. I mean, really, how hard is it to make a decent mishbrot, a semmeln, anything? What the hell is Wonder Bread? It's cake, that's what it is. I began to cringe every time I heard the word soccer. My mind began to hurt when converting everything to miles and feet and inches and Fahrenheit. They just made no sense. I began to start to hate not having a public transportation system. As massive as the cars were, that's all there was. I just wanted to speak German, and nobody speaks German. Eventually, though, I began to find a routine, and those annoyances seemed to slowly melt away as I began to build my daily routine. I began to accept what was out of my control and started to see things as positive. My speech therapy began to work, and I had to explain less and less where I was from as my English skills improved. I only began to experience homesickness every now and then around the holidays. Things got easier, and I began to have fun. I saw the benefits of a 24/7 store and tried to do everything I could to Americanize myself. I began to become a master of US culture. That wasn't always easy. I had to quit smoking because I quickly realized nobody smokes. I had to find a way to get a fake ID because I was already used to drinking legally. I learned that, "Hey, how are you?" is a completely acceptable greeting with no answer. I began to notice everybody smiling. Though I knew it was fake, it was nice to see the politeness. I began to see what people referred to as the American warmth. The image of the ugly American tourist in my mind began to fade away. I remember one of the happiest days of my life was waking up, having realized that my entire dream was in English, not in German as they have been. I finally started taking the bits of American culture that I liked and integrating them into the German culture I was so used to. That has given me the unique ability to critique both cultures from the outside, which is a weird concept. Only through speaking with my German friends have I realized how Americanized I have become. But I no longer consider that a bad thing. And it has only reinforced my favorite quote from St. Augustine. The world is a book, and those who don't travel only read one page.